Well. How's everybody doing? Welcome back to Sacramento Kings franchise. We have made it to trade deadline episode. Who is excited? I know I am. Now obviously, we have a lot to go over in trade deadline. We're going to get to the trades eventually. Everybody calm down. But I think it's important we look at, how our team is doing and some of the stats. So, obviously, we've had a lot of injuries this year. Jayshawn Oakley was out a good chunk of time. Kingston Flemings is gonna be out a good chunk of time, and he's already missed a couple weeks. McCain, Cam Trice, Clowney have all been healthy. Vassell's been healthy. Mario, he's been in and out of the lineup, not due to health, but just due to us having a lot of depth. Some of our guys have been pretty healthy, but we also have had a couple injuries, as I've said. Jared McCain's leading us in points, followed by Jayshawn Oakley. Cam Trice leading us in rebounds, no surprise there. Jayshawn Oakley does have a lot of rebounds, though. I think he's been rebounding the ball really, really well for us, so that is something to mention. Assists is Kingston Flemings, but Mario is right behind him, and he could easily, take the lead on this. Steals is also Kingston Flemings, followed by Cam Trice, who, he's a pretty good defender. He makes a lot of defensive plays, so I think that's pretty good. He's almost averaging, he's actually averaging 1.5. Why did I see 2? That's per 36. Okay, there we go. 1.5 a game. That's pretty good as well. We definitely need some rim deterrence because I think that's our biggest flaw at this point in time after looking through all of the stats. In terms of field goal percentage, Washburn is leading the way in limited minutes. Cam Trice right after him. Then it's Jayshawn Oakley and McCain. Again, I would still like him to be a bit better from the field, but he's pretty much leading the way, so that's good. His free throw percentage is still bad though, which does suck. McCain's leading us in free throw percentage, and he damn near doesn't miss a free throw. 95% from there is really, really good. And then if you look at plus minus, it's actually Keon Ellis leads the way in very limited minutes, and then Ty Jerome and Peyton Watson, which is very surprising. Looking at estimated wins added, it's Jared McCain, Jayshawn Oakley, Clowney, Cam Trice, and Flemings is the lowest in the starting lineup, actually. Vassell is leading the bench unit in estimated wins added, and then the most negative is Cardwell, who didn't play that much, and Peyton Watson. So interesting stuff there. Not too much that really changes anything on how we're, going to go about the trade deadline. But I will show you what will kind of determine how we're going about this. So if you look around the league, I think our biggest area of weakness, I think we're around middle of the pack around middle of the pack in our offensive scoring. And I think we're honestly a little better at defense, but no, worse, because the higher is obviously worse. So we're actually, what am I saying? We're not good defensively. I think defense is kind of where we struggled the most, I think. No, our offense struggles the most. Hold on, I'm confusing myself. All right, the reason I was confused is because when I kept sorting these, it changes the numbers over here, which I don't want it to do that. But we're pretty much exactly the same in both. We're just not good in both. We're pretty much average in both, I'd say. One of our strong suits is our three-point shooting. We're top 5 in three-pointers attempt, and we're number 1 in three-point makes, which I think is very nice to note because I believe if you look at our previous seasons, well, first of all, our offense was a lot worse, and our defense was also worse last season. But specifically three-point attempts, 27. So we're taking 4 more threes under this new coach, and this is a trend. Like all of these years, we are taking low amount of threes. So our new coach is obviously helping in that. And in terms of, okay, we can't see. Oh, this is per 100. Okay, hold on, I might have just lied. Okay, there we go. Team stats. That says okay. So yeah, we still are up a lot. It's not as much, but We still are up. And looking at the percentage, we're shooting a lot better this year than we have been. So yeah, I think that's a big point of emphasis that we've changed on this team that has helped us out a lot. We are also one of the top free throw shooting teams. I think we're top 10, which is always good, but that's also Jared McCain. Our rebounding is decent. I think we're in like the middle of the pack for that, but our offensive rebounding is pretty abysmal. We are like the worst offensive rebounding team in the league, or one of the top, or one of the worst. Looking at assists as well, we're pretty low down here. Not the worst, which we usually are, but we're still pretty low. And we're also one of the lowest in blocks. So at the trade deadline, I want to get a player who can address these flaws for our team. So the players I had in mind were 3 different players, and I have an order of which I will try and get them. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But this is not the order, but these are the players. DeAndre Ayton, Moussa Diabate, and Isaiah Hartenstein are the 3 players. I think all of them are pretty decent rebounders, but all of them have kind of different attributes that make them enticing, right? DeAndre Ayton is probably the best offensive center of the group, but he's also probably the worst defensive center of the group. Moussa Diabate is definitely the best rebounder of the group, but he's probably the worst offensive player, and he's not that good of a defender anyway. And then Isaiah Hartenstein is kind of the best of both worlds, where I think he's a decent offensive piece. He's a good rebounder and a good defender. He's definitely not, fantastic at any of those things, but I think he has a good mix of all of them that makes him really, really enticing for me. So he is our number 1 candidate who I am looking at, because I think we really need center depth on this team. And honestly, he could start, because Cam Trice hasn't been having the most like he's not having a season where it's like, oh, I gotta start him. And he didn't progress much. So maybe him going to the bench and having Isaiah Hartenstein to mentor him can actually help him a bit. Also, almost the biggest thing that entices me with Isaiah Hartenstein is his playmaking, actually, because again, we are in the bottom of the team in assists, and I think bringing that up would help us a lot. So he definitely is our main target. And then after that, I'd probably go Ayton and then Moussa. Moussa is definitely the best offensive rebounder, which would help us a lot, but I just worry his defense isn't really good enough to justify getting him over Ayton, who is just like a bit better of an offensive player and he's more efficient. So yeah, that is kind of our idea for the trade deadline. Obviously, the move isn't that big, but we don't really need to make a too big of a move. We made a big move in the offseason, and we got a lot of pieces that have been really, really good for us, and we have a lot of depth, so we don't need more depth. We actually need to get rid of some depth here. So with that being said, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to relinquish controls over every team except us, so that we, I don't scam any of these teams out of a trade, and then we're going to try and make a trade for one of these guys. All right, so I relinquished all the other teams. So it's just us now. I only have control over us. And obviously, the first player we are going after is on the Hornets, and it is Isaiah Hartenstein. Now, we have a couple players who we can trade here that I'm willing to trade. And I think the first one would be Maxime Renaud, and the second would be Peyton Watson. So let's just see if we can get this done with Renaud off the rip. It's a no. Okay. That's fine. We can try it for Peyton Watson instead, who I think is really, really similar, in terms of overall and contract. So let's see if we can get that to go. Just very simple. And what if we threw in a future second round pick, because that didn't work? No, they're not interested at all. They don't even want to talk to us right now. Why is that? I feel like this trade is more than fair. Do they just have a lot of forwards? Kinda, yeah. Yeah, I could see that being a problem. What do they really need, though? Nothing. Okay, well, fine. You can keep him then. We'll move on to our second option, which is DeAndre Ayton on the Bulls. Now, Ayton wasn't my first option, but let's see what we can do. Throwing Peyton Watson will need a bit more. We can throw right now out there. They're going to have too many players, so then they can just throw in a salary dump. I guess Ousmane Dieng is a salary dump in this position. There's no way they take this. Okay, interesting. Let's just see what the trade finder would say for Isaiah Hartenstein, because we cannot be that far off. I feel like what we're offering is good, so maybe we can cheese it a bit with the trade finder. Yeah, that's more of what I was thinking. I mean, like, they want to trade Noah Clowney and Claude Washburn. What? Yeah. We're gonna do this because honestly, they get younger with this in right now. Not that I don't know how they'd feel about that, but they also save $2 million, and I mean, we're trading second round picks, but I don't know. I feel like they would have taken the Peyton Watson one, but the fact they didn't is kind of a spit in the face. And if the trade finder's giving us this, hey, I'm gonna take it. So we got our guy, and we did trade Raynell. I think we do have to talk about this. Raynell was on this team for a while, and it's definitely sad to see him go. He was pretty much a king since the start of the series with Nick Clifford, and he was one of the last players left on this team. I think Keon Ellis might literally be the last one from season 1 at this point. So that is sad to see, but Raynell was not helping us at all. He wasn't good defensively, and he had some good moments on offense for sure, but he wasn't getting it done for us. He never really carved out a massive role with us, but his time on the team, he will be missed. And I'm very happy to get somebody who can help us compete a bit more this year in Isaiah Hartenstein. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm going to give him the start. I want Cam Trice to have to earn his minutes. He's going to be getting a lot of minutes still. He's probably still gonna be getting 20 to 25, but yeah, I'm not just gonna let him start for free when we have a player that can do a lot of similar things and maybe some better things for us, because he can pass it a bit more, and he's about just as efficient, but he's shooting the 3 a little bit. So yeah, I think this is what our lineup is going to be off the rip, but Cam Trice can definitely get back a starting spot. Now we can get on to the rest of the trade deadline. It is possible we do make a trade with Peyton Watson, just because again, it's kind of hard to get him a role, because we have a lot of depth, and it's good to have a lot of depth, but we almost have too much depth to where a lot of our good players aren't getting played. I want Bruce Wesley to get some minutes. Keon Ellis could also be getting minutes, and so yeah, he could be traded, but I'm not sure as of right now for who. That might develop as we get into things. But we're gonna get to some of the other trades of the trade deadline. So yeah. All right, and for our first not us move of the offseason, Kawhi Leonard is gonna be going to the Bucks. Now keep in mind, Kawhi Leonard is 38 years old. This is probably his last year in the league. He still plays okay. He's got some good defense. He can get a steal or two. But he's gonna go and try and compete on a winning team, and the Raptors are going to get back 2 second-round picks for it. Again, Kawhi is going to retire soon, so he wants to try and compete in his last year, and the Raptors are going to get a little bit of something for it, and they're also going to get this young player who hasn't really been able to do anything for the Raptors back. So I think that's a good trade. They couldn't really get much more, because again, I'm pretty sure this is going to be Kawhi's last year. So 2 second-round picks was pretty much the best they could get. No one was going to give a first for him. All right, and for our next trade, Jonathan Kuminga is going to go from the Pelicans to the Nuggets for Christian Braun and a second-round pick. The Nuggets are in desperate need of forwards. They don't have a lot of forwards, and a lot of the forwards they do have are hurt. Christian Brown has not been that good. He's actually shot 50% from the field this year, but he hasn't progressed much. Hasn't been the offensive player that they would want him to be. And Kuminga is expiring, so they're also getting off of about 20 million or 25 million that they would have to pay Brown. And if they want to re-sign Kuminga, they can for less, because I can guarantee you he will not be getting 30 million on his next contract. So both teams gonna take this one on. And yeah, from the Pelicans' perspective, they're just kind of getting a player. Kuminga didn't really work out for them, so just getting off of Kuminga is pretty nice. And getting, they have a lot of guards. Brown can probably play the 3 if he needs to, and he's a winning player, so that will for sure help them hopefully get back on track, because the Pelicans have been bad for too long. And another trade, we got Terrell Dawkins, who was drafted by the Spurs, I think 2 years ago, maybe 1 year ago. And they're trying to compete. They're gonna get Noah Penda, who is 25. He's kind of hitting his prime. Not that he's like a superstar or anything, but he's been pretty efficient. He's a good defender, and they're gonna send over a first-round pick to sweeten the deal so they can get him. They need some power forward depth, and Noah Penda he's listed as small forward, but he could really play either, so that should help both teams out. And the Magic get a first-round pick out of it, which is pretty nice. And another trade, the Thunder are sending over Keaton Wagler, who is, a nice young player. He was actually in the first draft, but he hasn't really done much. He still has a lot of potential and definitely could be something in the league. He just hasn't been yet. And they're sending over also a first-round pick for Jeremy Sohan, who he hasn't been too great, but the Thunder are needing backup power forward depth, so this should help them with that for sure. And the High Rollers get a nice, potential piece. All right, our first big swing of the trade deadline. The Hornets. Now, I've been talking about this every time I talk about the Hornets. They have a lot of good young guards, and they're getting rid of one of them now, Brandon Ryder. He has a lot of potential. He could be great in Cleveland. But he just really hasn't had the chance to shine too much, because there's just so many good guards in Charlotte. They're sending Julius Randle and Terrence Shannon Jr. and 2 first-round picks and a second-round pick for Evan Mobley. The Cavs are blowing it up because their team has been pretty awful. And Evan Mobley is going to be the first to go. And the rest is pretty much just salary filler. But yeah, they're keeping Con Knippel, they're keeping some of their other guys who they could have traded, and they're getting rid of Brandon Ryder. All right, so I released the players, and I also forgot to mention the Lakers are also getting 2 first-round picks for this. Now, you might say I don't think anybody would say this is too much for Luka, to be completely honest. But this seems like a pretty balanced trade. You're getting a possible future star, possibly a running mate for him in Jens Kramer, who's been a very solid center in Dallas. He's been playing backup for a couple years, but he's been good. They're getting Jarris Walker, who's a bit older, but still he could be something. And you're getting 2 first-round picks for Luka Doncic when Luka Doncic asks out. I mean, you can't get much better than that, in my opinion. Welcome home. Welcome home, Luka Doncic, back to the Dallas Mavericks. I think that one was bound to happen at some time in this series. I don't know if anybody would wanted that Luka trade to happen. I don't think anybody was a fan of it, unless you were a Lakers fan. But this makes the Dallas Mavericks, who are already a pretty good team, a lot better. They have 2 MVP caliber players. They also have Kyrie Irving, who's going to be out for a little bit, but he's going to come back. They have Mikal Brown, who's progressing, and he's just going to take the Kyrie role when Kyrie retires. And I mean, Luka's played with, this is pretty much a pretty similar team to what Luka had before, maybe minus Daniel Gafford, and he led that team to the finals, but he's got Cooper Flagg now. So that is a very star-studded duo in Dallas. And I think that's going to be a really fun team to keep track of. Continuing on the Lakers blowing it up, they're going to be picking up Jalen Suggs, and they're getting a first-round pick for it. The Magic could use a good center. They kind of have middling centers to be nice, I guess. Hans Steinbach isn't really efficient for a center. Lucas Booker also isn't. Both of them kind of mid. And the Magic have a lot of good guards. And, it just hasn't been working out with Suggs, so they're moving him to the Lakers with a first-round pick for Jarrett Allen, who is on a longer-term deal and a little bit cheaper as well. The Lakers, of course, getting a pick, which is the main reason they're doing it. All right, and for one of our last trades, I say all right every single time. And for one of our last trades, it'll be Immanuel Quickley going to the Celtics. The Celtics haven't been as good this year, but they could use some better guard play. They have a couple guards, they just really haven't been performing super well. So they're gonna pick up Immanuel Quickley, who's been pretty good on the season, and he should hopefully help them. They're only gonna give up Peyton Pritchard and a first-round pick, and they're honestly making around the same money, so it's a pretty good deal for both teams because, Seattle's going to get the pick. They're not good anyway. They get more young players, and then Boston gets Immanuel Quickley. All right, so those are all of the trades. I did look at a couple other teams to make deals for, but there really wasn't too much to get done for those teams. Some of the teams that are looking to the offseason to make moves are the Timberwolves, Jazz, the Bulls for sure, and maybe the Grizzlies, just because the Grizzlies kind of been stuck in the same spot for a while. They've been good, but not great, not really winning anything yet. The Bulls, I feel like Matas has taken a massive leap, so they're going to try and get somebody to pair him up with who, the Bulls can maybe try to make a run with. And then as for the other two teams in the West that I mentioned, the Timberwolves have just been not good enough, and they might just blow it up and trade Ant. That is a possibility. And then the Jazz also have just been really, really bad. They started off, I think, last season really good, and they just fell apart towards the end of the season, and it's pretty much stayed the same since. So yeah, not great over there in Jazz land, to say the least. But yeah, that's going to be the trade deadline. Hope everybody liked the trades. I will not be doing any gameplay in this episode. I'm probably just going to end off the episode by simming through All-Star Break, and then we will start next episode, probably playing some games. I think we might play against the Dallas Mavericks, because that is a fun team, to say the least. So with that being said, we got a couple games to get through, and then this episode will be over. So thank you guys if you've watched this far in. And yeah, let's get to it. We got the Blazers up first with our new starting center and Isaiah Hartenstein. So that should be fun. All right, we have simulated up to this Blazers game. Their team has not changed much. I think Dame is out with an injury. But besides that, their team's pretty much the same. Very, very well-rounded, very strong. So it's going to be a tough one. We are 2-8 in our last 10. So we've been having a rough go of it. This is Isaiah Hartenstein's debut on the team. So hopefully that can lead us to a win. But I mean, Hartenstein's not the biggest game changer, but I'm hoping he can at least help us out in some areas. But we will see. It was going good for a second there, but we did end up losing. Looking at the box score, Jared McCain at 24, Clowney at 23, Mario 15, 5, and 7. That's a pretty good stat line for him. Jayshawn Oakley 12, 5, and 6. Isaiah Hartenstein had 2 points, 6 rebounds, and 1 assist in his debut. He had 2 blocks though, that's decent. And then Cam Trice off the bench, he scored 2 points. Ty Jerome, not his best game. We do still have some injuries going on right now, so there is that to mention. Next up, we got the Timberwolves. That one should be a bit easier, and hopefully we can go back above 500. All right, we simulated up to this Timberwolves game, which did not take too long, obviously. But looking at their team, they are 2-8 in their last 10, just like us. They aren't good, but I don't think their team on paper is that bad. They do have Moussa Diabate, who is one of the players we were thinking about picking up, but hopefully we can get back on track in the win column because it has been rough the past like month or 2 months. But we have the lead. It goes to overtime and we lose in overtime by 2 points. Anthony Edwards, 55 points. Yep, I guess that's how we can lose that game. Noah Kalani had 27. Mario had 26 and 8. Jay-Sean Oakley had 22 and 16. Jared McCain had 20. Isaiah Hartenstein, 12, 14, and 4. That's a really good game from him. Drake White had 10 points. I mean, our starting lineup did what they were supposed to, but looks like everybody else really struggled. Bruce Wesley, 1 for 10. Devin Vassell, 0 for 3. Cam Trice, 2 for 6. Jesus. Ty Jerome also struggling there. And we have one more game before All-Star break. And hopefully Kingston Flemings can come back soon. He is day-to-day, so hopefully he's back for this game. And this team has not been good since Tyrese Halliburton went down. So hopefully we can get the win. I'm going to sum up to there now. I've simulated up into this Pacers game, and I have bad news. Good news, but bad news. They got Tyrese Halliburton back, which means they're able to win games now. This team, Tyrese Halliburton went down with like a pulled calf or something, and they just lost almost every game that he was out. He is back though, and they were pretty good when he was here, so I am a bit worried about that. Nevertheless, we have to play who is in front of us, and it is the Pacers. Oh boy, this past month has not been good for us. That is a lot of losses. Let's win this one. This is the one, right? This is it where we get back on top? Or is this the one where Tyrese Halliburton comes back from his injury and just absolutely demolishes us? Yeah, it's looking like it. Oh God. Jay-Sean Oakley, 21 points. Another thing to note, Kingston Flemings is not back yet. Cam Trice had a good game off the bench. Ty Jerome had a decent game. He's kind of bouncing back from a couple bad games. Really not much good going on for our team right now. And hopefully we can reset after this All-Star break because we are now the 10th seed. That is not good. I will go over their team. Donovan Mitchell, 30. Tyrese Halliburton coming back, 24 and 13. Yeah, he runs this team very, very well. Him and Donovan Mitchell both, you know, they have been playing good when they play together, but when he's not there, they do not play too well. But yeah, this has been really, really rough for us. What are the standings looking like? We are the 8th seed. We're 1 game in front of the 9th seed, 2 games in front of the 10th seed. We at least need that 10th seed to be in the play-in. So there's still a bit of a buffer. We're still in play-in territory, but we are far from the 4th, 5th, and 6th seed that we were originally, as we have pretty much been awful the past 2 months. And I mean, why is that? Can we look at our team stats over the past 30 days? Again, if you look at, we are one of the lowest win percentages. Our defense has been a lot worse, and our offense has been, our offense kind of has actually, I feel like, been at least middle of the pack. Nope, it's bottom. And our defense is actually decent. Yeah. So it's really our offense that is the issue. I'm kind of hoping, you know, maybe when we get Kingston Flemings back, even though he's not having the best season, hopefully he can kind of rejuvenate our offense a bit. And maybe just all it's going to take is an all-star break to just get this team back focused so that we can make that playoff push that we need. But looking at the all-star break coming up, I'm going to sim through it. We do have I think we have Cam Trice playing in the Rising Star game. And besides that, we don't have anything. To go over the All-Stars, this is what we're looking at. For the East, it's Cade, Donovan Mitchell, on Giannis, Matas Buzelis, Jalen Johnson, Scoot Henderson making it despite his team being bad. He has actually been very good, shooting almost 55% and 40% from three. He has been fantastic. He's definitely taken a jump this year. John Morant's here. Cameron Boozer, Jason Tatum, Paolo Banchero, Keyshawn George, and Ryan Rollins rounding out the East. For the West, it's Luka, Shea, Jokic, Cooper Flagg, Victor Wembanyama, Anthony Edwards, Eddie Marks making it for his first time, I believe. Sengun, Amen, Brandon Ingram, Chet, and LaMelo. And yeah, I'm just going to sim through and then we'll kind of go over what happened there. All right, so looking at All-Star break, Tonde Yesufu won the dunk contest and Matas Buzelis won the three-point contest. That guy is having a year. The Rising Star Challenge, Shake Dodson showing out. Jamal Chandler, Brandon Ryder, who just got traded recently. He had a pretty nice game. Cam Trice, he had a good game too. Good job, Cam. And then for the world team, Condon, Noah Campbell, who's been having a fantastic year in Indiana. Not the most efficient, but he gets that ball in the basket pretty well out there. Nate Booth, Sean Kim, Drezic, who he cooked us when he played us. And then, yeah, a bunch of other guys as well down here, not playing the best. But, hey, it's the Rising Stars game, so who really cares? And then for the All-Star game, Donovan Mitchell led the way for the East, who got blown out by 40-plus points. Then it was Cade, Jalen Johnson, Cam Boozer, John Morant, Matas, who shot 2 for 15. Paolo had 9, Giannis had 8. Yeah, not too much there. Wembanyama, Sengun, Shea kind of just lead their team to victory. Wembanyama almost having a triple-double as well as 5 blocks. Crazy game from him. He would have definitely won the MVP. And Anthony Davis got in as an injury replacement. Okay. This is like harmful to the sport. One of the worst teams in the West and he's averaging 13 points. Yeah, that can't be right. Amen also did get injured in the All-Star game. He twisted his knee, which is kind of funny. It's sad, but it's kind of funny. But yeah, so that is the All-Star break. I'm going to sim up to this Raptors game, but that is going to be the end of the episode once we get there. One thing to note, Kingston Flemings is back. We're going to be limiting his minutes because he has been a bit injury prone this year. He's also struggled this year, so I want to ease him back into the role. Mario will be getting a big bench role, pretty much the same amount of minutes as he was getting when he was starting. And then Devin Vassell will still be at 20 minutes instead of 25. Cam Trice keeping his 20. Ty Jerome is out of the lineup. I just think it's more important to have Mario in leading that bench unit than him. They've pretty much, how many minutes have they both averaged? They're off by about 3 minutes, but they average the same amount of points, and Mario averages more assists. So definitely interested to see how this unit runs. But yeah, we'll have players and we have the depth in case we have injuries, but for now we are fully healthy, which is good. So yeah, hopefully going into next episode we can start racking up some wins again because it has been a rough couple months. But yeah, I'm going to simulate up until here, but this will probably be the end of the episode now. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode in the trade deadline and all the trades that went on. Luka going back to the Mavericks, a couple other pretty big trades. Subscribe to keep up with the series and to see what happens next. And as always, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.